And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. It's National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and Crime Stoppers is recognizing everyone impacted by crime, from the victims to their families. The organization is placing a spotlight on Leticia Ibarra, whose daughter Jessica was murdered over 3 years ago. Joining us to talk about it with more information, Andy Kahn from Houston Crime Stoppers and Leticia herself. Glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored. Obviously, this is a sore spot, something that you can never quite recover from. When you talk about your daughter, does it bring you some closure, at least to help others by sharing her story?
Absolutely. It actually is a form of healing for me. You know, I say that I have all this love to give my kid who's not here anymore. And so by helping others, other family members of victims or victims themselves, it's a way for me to make some good come out of what happened. You know, this tragedy is just absolutely horrible. And so this is just a healthy way for me to deal with it and find some kind of healing. I don't know that there will ever be closure.
And for those who are not familiar with what happened to your daughter, tell us a little bit about that.
So it was August 30th of 2020, and she was murdered in her own home by someone we didn't know. We believe she knew him, but he was a complete stranger to all of us. Mm-hmm. So. And
obviously, it's tough to lose your child. Mm-hmm. Is it tougher to not even know who did it, or not know any relations, or know that you know who it is now, but
right.
who it was back then, and that there was no relation to you?
I don't know that it would, and actually it was probably maybe even a little better that it was a stranger. If it was someone we knew, I think that would be more hurtful. Mm-hmm. You know, it's hard enough losing a child, but losing a child, the manner of their death, and knowing now what I know, details of what happened to her and what he did to her, it's absolutely devastating. You know, everyone says you're not supposed to bury a child, right? And mm-hmm. we all know that, and that's really hard. But knowing how they died and the manner of their death and the violent manner of their death, that's the hardest part to digest even after all this time, and I'm sure for the rest of my life it will.
And did you ever see yourself becoming an advocate to help other parents out there, telling your story, sharing your story?
Never in my wildest dreams, number one, did I think I would be in this position. You know, like the DJ was saying earlier, you never believe that this is ever going to happen to you. It mm-hmm. happens to other people in other situations, but never to you. You know, I've never gotten more than a traffic ticket. I couldn't even have told you where the criminal court building was. Mm-hmm. You know, so I think along my way, I just, you know, I told God, I don't know what you want me to do with this, but whatever you want me to do, I'll follow. And
Absolutely.
I just sat back and let it happen.
And you're helping others now. Right. Andy, how important is it to recognize these families and these victims that are out there?
You know, Isaiah, I've been a board member of Parents of Murdered Children and Surviving Family Members of Homicide now for going on 30 years. It's the only organization in this country in which someone else actually writes out your membership for you. No one ever wanted to belong to that. Leticia never wanted to belong to that. But we meet the second Tuesday of every month at Crime Stoppers. Anybody is welcome to attend if you've lost a loved one or you just want to support homicide survivors. Crime victims are the only unwilling participants in the criminal justice system. Everyone else chose their role. So it's the least we can do to make sure that the victims' rights, their well-being, their due process, their lives are being put together again. And one great way of looking at it is defendants' rights, and rightfully so, are protected and codified in the U.S. Constitution. Still to this day, victims' rights are a mere courtesy with no teeth or little ramifications if you're not advised of what your rights are.
All right, we want to thank you guys for joining us. It's an exclusive club you don't want to be a member of. We appreciate your time and wish you well, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story.